Ready.
Hi, I'm Steve from Endless OnBoard Air. This is the install video for the York 210 compressor to pump air. You have a couple of options. You can always carry a CO2 bottle, but you're going to run out. It's also poisonous, so if you're filling up an air mattress or something and it leaks, somebody might die. At any rate, we convert the AC compressor for you. If you take a look on the inside here, we plug the oil port that's designed to actually circulate oil through an air conditioning system. We don't need that. When it's converted to an air pump, that gets blocked off. So those of you that are already familiar with the York compressor and you take this front plate off and you're looking for the plug here, you're not going to see it because we do it when we have the thing torn down. The next thing is vertical placement of the compressor is the best type of position for the York compressor. It uses less oil in that position, but the bracket that goes on the 4.6 liter and 5.4 liter Ford engine for it covers 1997 through 2016. There's a few models of the 5.4 that it does not cover. I'll explain that later. But any of the Ford F-Series trucks, F-150, F-250, doesn't matter whether it's two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, it'll bolt up. For the purpose of this video, I'm not going to really refer to the 4.6 liter. It'll save me having to say both. So when I'm talking about the 5.4 liter engine, it refers to both engines. They're basically the same. The bracket, you're able to mount the compressor either on its side if you wish, but you get better performance and there's less maintenance in maintaining the oil level. We do put a dipstick in it. That's what this is here. If it's mounted sideways, we've got one over here. We also have a 200 amp alternator. A stock alternator is 120 amps. We anticipate that you might have off-road lights or something like that. What makes this all possible is the pulley that goes on the end of the alternator. You're going to use your original stock serpentine belt that goes on your engine. There's just a V-belt pulley that's almost a 1-to-1 ratio to the actual clutch on the York. That means that the RPM of your engine is going to be about the same RPM on the actual unit. That prevents it from ever being able to be damaged in some way and gives you optimum performance because it is spinning fast enough. The type of oil to be used is any type of motor oil is recommended. You can use 30 weight, 40 weight, 50 weight, 1040, 1030, 2050. What I do personally is I use whatever oil that I use for my truck is the same oil I stick in the compressor unit. That way you're only carrying one little quart of oil around with you and it works for both. You're going to need some tools in order to do this, obviously. I'll cover it more in detail. You need to be able to take your serpentine belt off, your alternator. You're going to cut the oil fill tube off your valve cover on the passenger side, and I'm going to demonstrate how you can do this on the car without any debris or anything getting into the engine. If your valve cover gasket is leaking and you got to take this off anyway, then just do it when it's off the car. It's real easy. The cutoff tool that you're going to be using is, you can either stick something like this in the end of a electric drill. You can use a Dremel tool. If you already have access to air, you can use a die grinder of some kind. I'm not going to really get into mounting of air tanks or anything like that. This is actually going to be just the install video of putting the compressor on the Ford truck. You can always get one of these type air tanks. I would recommend getting one at least this large if you're going to be using air tools. If you're just going to be filling tires, you don't even really need an air tank. But it makes it kind of nice to have some kind of an air tank so you can run air tools, nail guns, and that type of thing. There's this type of air tank here that can be custom made. A V-cut can be put in it in case you need a space so your license plate can be seen. This is adjustable. It slides into your receiver hitch. As you can see, there's a number of holes on the side here, so you can slide it in to a Jeep, anything with a 2-inch receiver hitch, and you can also adjust the tank up or down, and then by flipping the receiver over, you can adjust it more. You have like 8 height adjustments. The nice thing about this particular tank is it can be made to whatever desired width of your vehicle that you want. The air inlets on the side of the tank are convex here. So if you hit like a tree or a branch or something, it's not going to break your little fitting off. When you slide it in, you hook up these turnbuckles to, it depends on the application. If you got a metal bumper, you can just hook this on your bumper. Sometimes there's a convenient hole there, and other times on your receiver hitch, there's a place to hook this where you would normally put the safety chain for your trailer, and then you just tighten these up, and you don't have anything wiggling. And it almost looks like a bumper. These can be painted, powder coated, whatever you desire on that. It comes with a built-in blowout valve, an inlet, so you can hook up where your air hose is coming in. You can plug that in. What am I looking for here? On your compressor. It's going to come with a manifold. They call this a port manifold. It's basically, it gives you the ability to run compressed air to different applications, such as train horns, air lockers, a whole number of different things that you might have on your vehicle. We provide you with a pressure shutoff switch with the kit. What this is for is when you turn it on, the compressor runs and fills up your tank to 150 psi and then shuts off. When you start using the air, when you hit 90 psi, the compressor is re-engaged and fills it back up to 150 psi. If for some reason there's some type of failure, if you're not familiar with air compressors and that type of thing, that's what your blowout valve is for. In the event that the compressor somehow keeps running and overfills the tank, it doesn't blow your tank up, the blowout valve just releases the excess pressure. So what we have now is, this is the installed unit. I'm going to do a short demonstration here. You're going to see this actually in operation. Now I'm going to pull all this off, put the engine back to stock, and then walk you through step by step on how to do the install. So let's do that right now. Here's a gauge that is hooked up to the tanks mounted on this truck. This is a 1998 F250 4x4 with a 5.4 liter engine. So we're going to start this up and compress some air. Up to 150 psi and then shut off. And we'll do a demonstration here. Right now the tanks are at 150 psi, and if we want to go up to that high pressure, it's just a matter of adjusting your valve. What makes this kind of convenient is that if you're filling up a tire, let's say, you don't even need to use a tire gauge, really. You can just adjust this down to your desired tire pressure. And when you stop hearing the air flowing in through the hose and into your tire, you know you're at your desired pressure. In running air tools, I would want to run like an air ratchet, somewhere above 100 psi. We're at about that right now. We're at 120. So let's hook this up. Compressor came back on. Normally when you're using an air ratchet, you're stopping every once in a while. You're getting that bolt off. As you can see, with this type of system, there's no waiting around time waiting for the compressor to fill your tanks back up. And you can turn the pressure up higher, or you can go lower. If you want to lock in a particular pressure on this particular regulator, you can just find the pressure that you desire and push the cap in, and it's locked in at that pressure. So what we're going to do now is kind of have the demonstration. Now I'm going to pull all this off and give you a walkthrough on how to actually install it on your own truck.